Hello, friends, and welcome to Hocus Focus, Mystical Tools for Spiritual Explorers. I'm Megan Round. Welcome to today's show, where I have guest Christy Kay here to talk about the sounds of healing. It's going to be wonderful. I'm super excited you're here. Today's guest lives in one of my dream locations along the North Oregon coast with her 15-year-old son, Frank. She has a wide variety of interests which have shown up in her work history as well as in her different spiritual and metaphysical pursuits, but she's studied health and wellness most of her life. This was particularly in an effort to overcome chronic illness, including several autoimmune diagnoses, and also because a serious car accident 6 years ago left her with a traumatic brain injury, broken back, and PTSD, which Western allopathic medicine was unable to heal, but energy healing brought her great relief. Her metaphysical gifts include intuitive, healer, claircognizant, clairvoyant, and multidimensional medium. A spiritual explorer in the truest sense, her main interests are the science of energy, sound healing, intuitive readings, Akashic records, shamanism, psychology, meditation, and healing foods, with certifications as a Usui Reiki master, crystal healer, advanced crystal practitioner, soul realignment Akashic records reader, Himalayan singing bowls for healing, and as a chakra dance facilitator, which blends dance, specific sound, guided imagery, and Jungian philosophy to bring deep healing. She's also studied the use of both Himalayan and crystal singing bowls, tuning forks, drums, bells, gong, and voice for sound healing. With a love of bridging the gap between science and spiritual, because she says there really isn't a gap, it's just perceived, she has recently begun a study with 7 participants on the use of tuning fork therapy for rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia, documenting the results for possible publication and future study. She's also an artist of painting and clay and was a successful healthy foods cafe owner, techie, and accountant bookkeeper before shifting into the work she does today, offering one-on-one treatments and group healing using an array of energetic practices in her spiritual business, Cosmic Healing Northwest, where her passion and gifts lie in facilitating healing on a deep energetic level for her clients who want more peace, health, and wellness in their lives. I'll post her details below. And if you're interested in hearing more about her spiritual journey, mark your calendars way in advance for March 7th, 2020, when we'll mash it up in the Lightworkers Lab with a link to the replay and show notes posted here in this group. So even if you're not able to make it live, you can check out her information or check out that mashup when we have it. I cannot multitask, can you tell? Okay, so please give a warm welcome to energy medicine practitioner, sound healer, and fellow spiritual explorer, Christy Kay. Well, hi, Christy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you this morning or afternoon for you?
It is afternoon for me. It's great. It's a good day. It's kind of cold outside, but it's warm inside, so feeling good.
That's the best. Snuggle.
Yes. Yeah, I took off my really fuzzy blue coat because it would actually fill the whole space. But it's a good day for that kind of coziness.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and us today about sound healing and the sounds of healing.
Oh, I get excited talking about it.
Good.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, definitely my pleasure. Well, what I wanted to ask you before we get into the heart of this topic is how you became interested in it in the first place. I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit in your introduction.
That was quite an introduction. Thank you. Like you said, I have been interested in health and wellness most of my life. I had a lot of illness as a child, and then as I became an adult, I was diagnosed with several autoimmune diseases. I wasn't having a very fulfilling life, although I've done a lot of things. There wasn't a lot of joy. And after my car accident, where I was completely laid out. I didn't get out of bed for like a year, literally. And but I knew there was a reason why I survived that car accident. I knew there was something more that I was here to do. So I started by diving into Reiki and energy and learning about how that all works. And as I started doing Reiki on myself, I noticed significant shifts.
Ooh.
And yeah, from there, I fell into crystal healing. But looking back, I had been collecting rocks and wearing them since I was a little girl, but I didn't put those two things together until I began to study it more. And then I feel like it naturally fell into sound, because sound is like the epitome of all energy. If that,
I was going to ask if you'll say more about that.
yes. So to talk about sound, it's very important to talk about vibration, because essentially sound is vibration. It's energy moving. So if we look at the building blocks of our bodies, we are made up of atoms. Atoms move. They vibrate. It's just science.
Yep.
We have protons and neutrons and electrons, and they all move. These atoms make up cells. Well, molecules, which make up cells. Cells make up our body. We are naturally energetic, moving. Although not everyone can see us moving, most people can't see us moving. We are constantly in motion. So where sound comes in is that sound creates vibration, and we are vibratory beings. Excuse me, vibratory beings. So when sound creates these vibrations, it affects our bodies. Now, sound healing is not something that's new. It's actually been documented and been studied. Like if you go way back down into ancient culture, Egyptians used sound for healing. The Greeks used sound for healing. The great composers worked on a 432 hertz scale, which is known to be the sound of nature. And that is why Vivaldi and Bach and Mozart feel good when you listen to them. They're working on a scale that is healing. So if you look at any culture in the world, music is a part of it. It's part of ceremony, it's part of life, death, it's part of celebration. There's all different ways to use music and sound and vibration.
Definitely.
It's so exciting to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's so amazing how it's really, there may actually have been music before then that we just don't know because it hadn't been recorded. I can totally see the cave dudes out there with like rocks and stuff and other leaves and things, and
Exactly. Because we are vibratory beings, it's just natural that we would create more vibration to help us on an instinctive level heal. So every organ in our body, every tissue, every muscle has a certain vibration when it's healthy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a symphony going on in your body. Everything's working at a different vibration, and when it's healthy. When we fall out of health due to the foods we eat, the vibration of our food isn't very good, or we have some emotional energy coming in that we don't take care of, we don't look at, we don't release, it gets stuck in our bodies, and it creates this dissonance.
Yeah.
Where sound healing comes in is these vibrations come through in our body, and they help release those stuck energies. They help create the perfect vibration for each cell, each organ, every part of your body. And our physical bodies, as a lot of spiritual people know, our physical bodies are just a representation of our auric bodies. So when our auric bodies are out of alignment, that also creates physical ailments. So we're working not only on a physical level, but an auric level and a spiritual level and all levels. So it really touches on every part of us.
Definitely.
That is why sound is so important. If you look at Dr. Emoto's work,
the water guy.
Yes.
Okay.
He what he did was he took
a link to that book just so everybody knows.
He took water from the same source, same vibration, and he used music, and he took pictures, very close up pictures of what the music did to the water. And on most cases with Bach and Mozart and all the beautiful composers, the water vibrations created these beautiful patterns.
Kind of like snowflakes. They were crystals, right? Yeah.
Crystalline patterns, because we are crystals too. There's so much to the vibratory healing. But what he also noticed is when he used music that was dissonant and wasn't harmonious or had rhythm or harmony, it created cloudy, dirty looking water. So that, to me, is a perfect example of why sound and vibration are so very important. Our bodies are made up of over 70% water, along with, and so when we have these vibrations come through us or around us, it's very important what we're feeding our bodies in relation to what types of music we listen to also.
I had a question about that. We haven't actually talked about this level when we connected earlier about your coming on, but you tapped into the question I have about music, because, well, I like some music that's dissonant. I like things like grunge and some heavy metal.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, and what I'm curious about is your perspective on intention. You know, does intention matter when listening to music? Because if I'm there's some music that I absolutely do not connect with, on many different genres. So it's like more about the musician and the song and the melodies. Some may not actually have, you know, official melodies, I suppose, but you know, there are some that I just do not connect with, and others that I really do. Do you think that it has anything to do with where we're at energetically and what needs to be moved through us, or are there other?
Absolutely, I do believe that. And I was just talking to a gentleman yesterday in my office about it. He was asking me if our bodies are in dissonance and if they are not functioning at a very high vibration or they're stuck energy, can listening to dissonant music actually counteract that? And I truly believe yes, it can. What it does is it helps move that stuck energy out. And that's why listening to grunge, woo, yeah, we're moving around, we're shaking, we're releasing that stuff that does not serve us anymore. Continuing to listen to the dissonant music might have the counter
opposite effect.
Yes. But when I do my group sound baths, I start out with very calming music and I bring them into a relaxed state, and then I will go into dissonance. I will create some very powerful sounds with my gong that'll just shake and rock that out. And then I bring it back to healing again and fill that space that you created when you release that energy with something that's very, very high vibration and healing.
I love the fact that you mentioned filling space that leaves. I mean, there's two things that come to mind. One is that of music entrainment, which I've talked about a while ago, but like starting with, if I'm in a bad mood, I have to meet myself music wise with that something that resonates there, and then bring it up.
Absolutely.
But and by the time I'm done, I don't want to listen to that angry song anymore, but I sure do when I'm in a bad mood. You know?
Yes, well, it helps with the releasing process, and entrainment is something also that's very important part of sound healing. What we are around, what the vibration that is in our auric space, we kind of pick up on that and start to attune to it, and that is how sound healing works. It brings the vibration in our body back to alignment because we kind of connect to it, and it brings it back to that healthy state.
And then filling that space. So I've always thought that when we release some type of energy, something has to replace it, or else the same kind of energy can come back again. And
Exactly.
how do you determine what the best thing is to fill that space with? Is it just something of a higher vibration? It doesn't really matter what it is. And I don't even know if that's a cohesive question, but I'm just kind of going out there.
I believe it does matter. As I said, each cell, each organ has a specific vibration it works at, and our chakras are energy centers where we take in energy and release it. So each chakra has its own note. It has its own hertz being the rate of vibration. It has its own rate of vibration. So it's important, like if you're working on your root chakra, you're working on your self-worth, you're working on your root, your foundation, fear, knowing your place in the world, all those things. You working with a lower hertz music, which is very solid and not as high vibration, is very important at that time, in that space. Whereas if you're trying to open your crown up and connect with the divine, very, very high vibration, and the note of A, which vibrates very, very fast, is important at that point. So it depends which area you're working on. Now, I always recommend starting at the root, because without a very good base and foundation of healing there, this is going to come from a space of fear, because we're not connected in alignment at that space. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does. I love the fact that you incorporated chakras, and that's a topic for another program, the chakras in general, if you're not familiar with them, for those of you who are listening or watching. But what I heard in that is that it's beneficial to start working at the ground up, at the root chakra and up. What I have found is that those lower chakras, the root chakra and the sacral chakra especially, are two that I continuously have to go back to. I do a lot of work up here, and it's easy for me to attune to that level, but then I lose grounding. It's like I think that's why I go towards some of that lower vibe. And by lower vibe, I just mean that it has bassier sound.
Right. Yes. The vibration is not as fast, basically.
Yes.
It's moving slower.
Well, and so I want to, my goodness, we've been talking for 25 minutes already. I'm just looking at the clock over here. It's not my normal setup. So I'm like, wait, what time is it? I want to make sure we get to to your meditation. Well, I'm calling it a meditation, but I almost think it's more of an what's the word? Like an example. Are you actually going to be giving us a guided meditation, or are you going to do a demonstration? That was the word I was looking for.
I struggled with this, and I wasn't sure what to do. But this morning, it occurred to me that our voice is the most influential instrument we have, because when you use singing bowls, tuning forks, drum, all those things, it comes from the outside in. Our voice vibrates out, and it's to me, it's more of a powerful tool than any of the other things we could possibly use. So today I thought it'd be good I will play some of the instruments and guide you through the body, but I also want you to play along with me, sort of, and use the voice and create the sounds that go with each chakra as we clean them out and tone them.
Excellent.
So that's what I thought we should do today.
That sounds fabulous. I might mute my mic, because otherwise you're all going to just hear me. and although I'm okay totally blasting it when I'm singing alone or in my car, I'm not ready for a public performance, and it'll probably distract everybody else. But yeah, that helps me then gauge time. So some of the now there's a number of things going through my head. One thing is, for people who are watching, what sounds do you gravitate towards? Do you like certain types of music? Do you listen to sounds of nature? What helps satisfy that vibrational sound element for you? And
that's a really hard question. All of them.
yeah.
I'm very lucky to live 2 minutes from the ocean. So
Seriously, that is so awesome.
yeah, I know. I'm very blessed. So when I need a release, and when I'm not feeling up to my joyous self, I go to the ocean and I let that, because it's loud, and I allow it to permeate me and the salt to move through me. And that to me is very, very healing. I also love my crystal singing bowls and my Himalayan singing bowls. When I use them with clients, I use them on the body, so it reverberates through the whole space. And when I'm at home, I do the same thing. I put them on my body and ring them. And to me, that is, there's nothing like it.
I can imagine that one. We won't get a full-fledged demonstration. You can't put them on us, but the sound is just amazing. So I'm excited for that. In fact, now I'm kind of wondering, do you want to kind of walk through the different tools? I don't, what do you call them? In an aggregate sense, is
well, they're tools of healing. I think that would be a good term for them. They are instruments. You play them. But to me, they're more tools to help with healing, more than instruments. I'm not a full-fledged musician, although I've always had an interest in sound. I've always loved music. I was in the choir at church when I grew up. So I always had an affinity for the vibrational healing.
We share that.
Yes,
big time. It's like every year through school and choir, even into college. Not because I had a good voice, I just like to sing.
Yes, exactly. And again, it's a very, very strong instrument that vibrates out and it clears your body as it's doing so. So and I'm not the best singer either, but it's so important to use this tool. It's why we have it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's how we express.
Well, why don't you demonstrate some of the tools that you use, the differences between them, why you would choose one over another for a particular healing?
Right. This is a small singing bowl in the note of F, which is very good for heart healing. And it has a beautiful sound. I don't know if you can hear that.
I could totally hear. I don't want to talk over it though again. You wanted,
Because this is the note of F and the heart, it is the center of our being. So I use this a lot to connect the upper chakras to the lower chakras and create alignment and flow. Plus, it just sounds so gorgeous. I love it.
It does. Oh, and I can just totally, oops, there goes the camera. That's okay. It wanted to lay down just like I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, right.
So
there you go. Got caught in my... So that I would use for the heart. Now, if I wanted to blow out this, this is what I would use for root and lower chakras. It's in that sound of C. This kind of, to me, brings the energy that's floating around up here and brings it down. And a lot of times our brains are just going at 100 miles an hour. And this I use around the head for a lot of my clients, and it creates calm and it brings that energy down into the root. And it just, again, what a beautiful sound. So I'm going to stop that so we can move on.
No.
No, you want me to
No,
continue?
I'm just kidding. No, you can. I love that one. That one, I mean, I love them all, but that bassiness really works for me.
This is one of my smaller singing bowls for
What is it?
Crystal.
Oh, it's crystal.
Yeah, and it is violet for the crown.
For crown.
So it's at a higher pitch. This is really good for connecting to God, the divine. Now in music, they have what they call the perfect fourth or the perfect fifth. And that is when there is a space when you're playing two notes at the same time and you're going up the scale 4 spaces or 5 spaces. And when you bring those two notes together, they kind of cancel each other out. And what's left in that in-between space is what resonates through us. So you're kind of creating. So I would use, here's another bowl I have. I would play this one and this one at the same time.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
Now, what the great thing about the singing bowls is it has a lot to do with the brain entrainment. So it's creating frequencies in our brain that help with calming and relaxing and healing. And I wanted to mention that there's been a lot of studies recently in sound and medicine. Although it's been around for many, many centuries, they are starting to use vibration in cancer healing. Targeted vibration into the tumors, and it's showing great results.
Wow.
They also, a study came out this week that I just read. A woman in Ireland started using sound, mostly singing bowls and tuning forks, with children with autism and sensory processing disorder, and 70% of them showed improvement in their ability to communicate.
Well, I was going to ask you, this kind of leads into that in a sense. When you did the crown chakra singing bowl, I kind of felt like it almost showed me where I'm blocked. Is that kind of one of the things you use them for?
Yes, actually, if I was to ring my bell over clients when they're on my table, when the sound becomes dissonant, I know that's where an area of blockage.
That actually, I have some Tibetan ringing bells, and I thought they may have just been misaligned because yes, like that. And then they were, so there was just a slight dissonance at first. And what I thought at first, I thought, oh no, they're not tuned properly. And then I kept doing it. And then eventually they would ring true to each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is cool. This is a sound clearing thing.
Exactly.
I didn't actually know that's what they were, one of the things that they could be used for. So those are now my big go-to thing for energy clearing.
Oh yes, I use those in the same way I would use my bell. I also use it to start a session and end it because it's got a really nice sound. And I can tell in the beginning how it sounds versus how the end of a session, there's a difference. And I don't know if you can hear tuning forks over online, but these are more subtle than the bowls, but they are, to me, more powerful. And there's 2 kinds of tuning forks. Good question. The tuning forks you have more control over the frequencies you're creating. With the bowls, they play notes, but you can play multiple notes on a bowl, whereas a tuning fork is very precise. This one is 174 hertz, and that's what it'll play, and it won't play anything else.
Okay.
So you can be more specific. As I said, each organ has its own specific frequency. If you were to work on, say, the stomach area, you would pick a frequency that specific to that, and you use the tuning fork. This kind, I would use it in the auric field and wave it over it, or like do this motion where I'm bringing the energy out. Whereas a tuning fork like this with the weights on top is very, very good for actually putting on the body in the certain spots. When a client, say, has stiff shoulder, I'll just do the spaces all around it, and it works.
Do you go to the meridians specifically for that, or is it just wherever?
Meridians are a very important part, yes, because they are how energy moves in our body. But there's also spaces around there that energy gets stuck. So it's good to use it in, well, I've met several different kinds of training in that. What I found is I work best doing intuitively. But so there's so many different types of tuning forks. There's tuning forks that create harmony. There's the Solfeggio tuning forks, which have the sacred sounds. There's Pythagorean math related tuning forks that a lot of musicians use to tune their guitars and stuff, but they're also very good for harmonizing the body.
Does that the Pythagorean one, is that like more aligned with sacred geometry? And that just is a question I've never thought about it.
Yeah, well, it's the 369 principle.
Okay.
So the hertz created in the Pythagorean system all relate to 3, 6, or 9. Which, if you start reading on Tesla, you'll learn a lot more about that. But yes, it is sacred geometry.
Awesome. So I just channeled that because I had no idea before. That's cool.
There's so much to sound and vibration. We could probably talk for many, many hours.
Well, and so there's a part of me that's like, yes, let's come back and do it a second time more in depth too, because I love this general overview, and we still have another 5 minutes before we need to go into, well, right around 5 minutes before going into the, the deeper piece. But, this is a fascinating topic for me personally, which, makes it even harder to stick to the basics. But I think that, there's so much to this, and I'm really curious about the healing process that you use as well. How do you determine what to use on a particular client? And what are sound baths? So if you don't feel like we have time to talk about those today, then I'll just bring you back and we'll do a deeper one, more specific to it. But if you do have time, then I personally would love to hear that. And I want to ask the audience what kinds of, so far what Christy has played are singing bowls and tuning forks and bells, and mentioned the voice. Do you have a go-to that you use or are interested in exploring further? But for you, Christy.
Yeah. I also use drum in my sound baths and with clients. I use frame drum, ocean drum. I have a steel drum, which steel drum really creates a beautiful vibration on the body. Plus, it sounds really nice. I don't have that with me right now. I meant to pull it out and I forgot. And the gong. The gong I use a lot in sound baths to create a dissonant sound, because it's so powerful and you can create different notes on it. And there's so many different ways to play it. A lot of people just hit it and then call it good. And there is also a difference between using sound for meditation and then going deeper into sound as a healing. So you could get a singing bowl and just tap it a few times and it'll create that calmness so you can move into meditation. or you can go deeper.
But then in meditation, you can do even more with it. Or does somebody else have to do the singing bowl then in order for other people to be able to meditate? Or can you do both? I've never tried both.
I myself, when I'm doing like a sound bath and I'm playing for an hour for all the people around me, I don't typically lead them through. I let them have their own experience. But at the end of it, I'm kind of in a meditative state myself. So I'm still getting the benefits of it, but you can't go deep like the person next to me laying on the floor who's just taking it all in.
Sure. And is that what a sound bath is then? Is it always singing bowls, or is it any kind of sound or combination of sounds? Is there a technique, or is it?
That's probably a whole nother nother conversation. But very quickly, sound baths is basically using I use all kinds of instruments in my sound baths, but I use specific ones to create different things. So to create calm, I'll use the singing bowls. To create dissonance, I'll use the gong or the drum. And then I will bring it back down to calming by going back into the bowls, the tuning forks, the shakers, and drum too. Drum, if you play our hearts beat at a certain frequency. If we are using that's why a lot of shaman use drums to go into the outer world, or other world. I meant other world, because it creates a very deep meditative state. It does. So sound bath, what I do is I have all my instruments and I let all the participants lay or sit around me and just relax into the music and vibration and let it do what it wants to.
Sure.
Specific to them. Now, if you were in my office and you had a specific thing you wanted to work on, I would tailor what I'm doing specific to that.
Do you start general and hone in when you're working with a one-on-one client? Like, do you start with something that's going to just bring a general vibrational sound and then go tune into like tuning forks and things like that are more specific, or do you just go right for the gusto?
I typically start with the singing bowls because it does create a very, very peaceful state, and it helps a lot of people get out of their heads and calm so that they're more receptive to the vibrations, because it is a symbiotic thing where they have to allow it to come through them.
That answered another question I had. Awesome. Yeah, because I would imagine that if you're not open to receiving it, then you can pretty much block it. You'll still get the vibrations, but it won't have the same healing effect.
Yes. Yeah, I had one woman tell me she hated it after the sound bath, and it was because she didn't want to feel it. She didn't want to let it happen. She just came to check it out, but she had a definite dissonant experience, and it was because she had a barrier, a blockage. Yeah.
She wasn't ready to receive.
Exactly. Or heal.
Yeah.
Not everybody's ready to heal.
Yeah. I do think that's a journey in and of itself. And when you're not ready, it just isn't going to work. And my intention for this week is receiving. So I had to get that word in there because it's true. I feel that. I think when you did the crown chakra singing bowl, I felt, oh, wow, that's interesting. There's like a blockage right around my third eye and keeping me from really accessing the crown, which is interesting because I actually thought that was probably one of the most open areas for me. And just to notice that is a really big thing.
Oh, yes. Oh, for anyone, I think. Anyone that is allowed to become more in tune with their body and their energy body specifically is going to have an easier time with life, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's have you do your demonstration, but also the piece where you involve voice. I'm not sure if I'll actually do it live because I'm not sure how to do that in a way that will work for everybody, but I'm definitely going to go back and do it afterwards because this is kind of my big thing that I love. And I bet everybody else is going to really enjoy this if you're open to receiving it.
Yes. So I want to just quickly go through what the sounds for each chakra. The sound, I just want to go through them real quickly so that when I go into it, you're able to speak to it. The first chakra, the vowel associated with it is see, it's very, very low tone.
Like guttural.
Yes. And the Biju mantra, they call it, is love.
Oh.
Now I would draw that out a little more in our, but it's like hum, except it's love.
So you really are focusing on the not the
Yes. And for sacral chakra, second chakra, the vowel associated with it is ooh. You can kind of feel it in that area. Ooh. And the bija doesn't seem related, but it's I don't know. I can feel it.
I can too. Just a little, just doing that little bit.
Right. The third chakra or sacral chakra is oh, and the bija is ra. You're using the diaphragm in that one. You're not required to memorize it at this time.
No, but I would like to post something that has these. So
I will send you one.
Oh, awesome.
And then for heart chakra, we're looking at and that's coming out of the lung area. The bija is ya.
Without the M, it's very Minnesotan. Yeah.
I grew up in Wisconsin. I don't think I told you that.
You did, because so did I.
The fifth chakra should sound familiar. Or we would say a. It's I. And the bija is hum. You're using this voice part right here, so you're essentially humming. Hum. Then we're looking at the sixth chakra, which is I. The bija is sham. And then the seventh chakra, E. And of course, we all know the bija associated with this. Oh.
Now, how does it work if it's E for the crown and then Om for the bija? How does that work?
It depends. That's a good question. The vowel sounds are different than the bija. The bija is it's more of an Indian culture, and how they with the Sanskrit kind of but the vowel is what we call seed sounds. They're guttural. They're they're just little tones that help put us back in alignment. And I believe the bija is what helps blow things out a little bit.
Ah, okay.
That's my take on it. Someone else might have another one, but from my experience, that's how it feels to me.
Okay.
And those are just some of the sounds we can create. Singing a happy song is just as effective as using these sounds, I think. It is about intention.
Yeah.
And using this instrument we have. And each sound, like the root sound, I just imagine it coming up from that space, and I can feel it coming up through the body and working the energy out. So what I wanted to do was use the instruments while we're using these sounds and kind of open up these chakras, let the energy start to flow again, and maybe we'll feel a little bit calmer and better.
Sounds great.
So I'm going to take this off. Maybe if I can. So I'm going to ask if we can just start by taking 3 long, deep breaths, filling up the stomach, expanding. And as we release, we're going to go. You're going to take a deep breath in. Expand the belly. And release. You can do it again. Expand. And release. And one more time. Expand and release. So now that we have our 3 deep breaths, we're going to imagine a brilliant white vibrating light coming down from the cosmos through the top higher chakras, all 3, through the star chakra, through our crown, cleansing and releasing the crown of all stuck residual energy. And it falls slowly, steadily into the 3rd eye chakra. Cleansing and releasing that which does not serve. It slowly falls down into throat chakra, cleansing, releasing, removing that which does not serve. And then it falls slowly into our solar plexus area, cleansing and releasing all stuck, stagnant energy that does not serve. And falls slowly into sacral chakra, cleansing and releasing all stuck, stagnant energy and that which does not serve. Falling slowly into root, cleansing and releasing all stuck, stagnant energy and that which does not serve. slowly making its way down the legs, out the bottoms of the feet, into Earth Star Chakra, cleansing and releasing all that does not serve. And falling slowly and gently through Earth, through her crystal caverns, through water and layers of rock, all the way to center of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. We feel her earth vibration. We feel her loving, vibratory, rainbow energy begin to pulse as we connect with her like a magnet. Then we ask color red to come up through the earth from Mother Gaia, through the bottoms of the feet and up our legs into root chakra, where it pulsates vibrant red, filling root chakra with her deep, pulsating red vibration, healing, balancing, creating that perfect sphere of red light as it expands out from our root chakra into our auric field. We begin to use our voice and we sing Thank you, root chakra. We now ask Mother Earth to send up juicy orange. It comes up through the earth, through the bottoms of our feet, up our legs, through root chakra, and into sacral chakra, where it pulsates orange, filling the space that has been cleared, healing and balancing, creating that perfect sphere of orange energy begins to radiate out from our physical body into our auric field. And now we use our wonderful voice. Thank you, sacral chakra. And now we call upon Mother Earth to send yellow, the color of sun, up through the earth, through the bottoms of our feet, up through root chakra, sacral chakra, and into solar plexus, filling it with sunshine yellow, filling the empty space we have cleansed, creating wholeness and balance. Begins to shine brighter and brighter. Emanating out from our solar plexus physical body into our auric field. And now we use our voice. Thank you, solar plexus. And so we call upon Mother Earth to send up emerald green. We pull it up through the earth, through the bottoms of our feet, up our legs, through root, through sacral chakra, through solar plexus, and into our heart. Which begins to vibrate emerald green, filling the space we have cleared, creating balance and healing. Filling and vibrating out from our physical into our auric field, and we use our voice. Thank you, heart chakra. We call upon Mother Earth to send up sky blue color. We pull it through the earth, through the bottoms of our feet, up our legs, through root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, and heart, making its way to our throat, which begins to pulsate and vibrate sky blue, filling the space we have cleared, creating wholeness and balance. As it vibrates out from our physical into our auric body, and we use our voice. Thank you, throat chakra. We now call upon Mother Earth to send up indigo. Indigo moves up through the earth, through the bottoms of our feet, through our legs, through root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, and now third eye. Filling the empty space we had cleared with indigo vibrating light, creating balance and wholeness. The perfect sphere of indigo light that begins to vibrate out past our physical body into our auric body. And we use our voice. Thank you, third eye. And now we call upon Mother Earth to send up violet. We pull violet up through the earth, through the bottoms of our feet, through our legs, through root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, and third eye, and up into crown at the top of the head, where it fills the space we have cleared with pulsing, vibrating violet color, creating wholeness and balance, and a perfect violet sphere that starts to vibrate out past our physical body into our auric field. And now we use our voice. Thank you, crown chakra. And now we pull all the colors of the rainbow from the root, the sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And we feel the vibration of the rainbow surround our auric field, filling it with light, with color, vibration, becoming brighter and brighter, like a light bulb. And we feel whole and peace and oneness. And now repeat after me. I am complete. I am filled with love. I am perfect as I am. Thank you. Softly open your eyes and bring yourself back to present. Namaste.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Wow. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today, Christy. I'll definitely want to have you back to get deeper into sound healing and all of its many
Facets.
Yes, I just keep wanting to say facets today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Oh, yes, for sure. And so for those of you listening, thank you for staying. And I am going to make a clip of this meditation and share it. So it may take me a little while to do it, but it will be done. Thanks again, and I wish you, Christy, but then also everybody watching live or in the replay, a magical, mystical day and week. Oh my goodness. Good thing I have a little time before driving because I'm feeling really mellow right now.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Well,
Thank
take care.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.